Gentlemen.
This world's gone crazy. At least that's what the headlines say. I don't know, it just seems like lately there's only bad news every day. They said a change was gonna come, but I don't think they meant for the worse. But when you look around at what's going down, it's like the whole world's caught up in some kind of voodoo curse. And I just wanna cry and fall on my knees. Oh, I just wanna cry, 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 cry and beg, Lord, please. Cry for resolution, cry for resolution, cry 'cause I know what it's like to lose. I just wanna cry with the people 'cause the whole world's got the blues. It's like we've lost our faith. It's like we've lost our innocence. Yeah, we wonder why things don't change. We're living without consequence, and Mother Earth feels it too. Well, she ain't been treated kind. The way the earth's been quaking and storms been shaking, and all our leaders have lost their minds. Oh, and I just wanna cry and fall on my knees. Oh, I just wanna cry, 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 cry and beg, oh please. Cry for resolution, cry for resolution, cry 'cause I know what it's like to lose. I just wanna cry with the people 'cause the whole world got the blues. Hey! Y'all make some noise for D-Wayne Strong on that guitar. Turn it up. And I just wanna cry and fall on my knees. Oh, I just wanna cry, 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 cry and beg, oh please. Cry for resolution, cry for resolution, cry 'cause I know what it's like to lose. I just wanna cry with the people 'cause the whole world's got the blues. Oh, I just wanna cry with the people 'cause the whole world's got the blues. Oh, oh, I just wanna cry. Oh, fall on my knees. Oh, yeah. thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. My name is Crystal Shawanda, if you don't know that by now. I'm here in my hometown, which is Wiikwemkoong Reservation, where I was born and raised. I'm up here actually visiting, catching up with people, and I'm here with the whole RCA staff. Well, not the entire RCA staff, but a great big bunch of them though. And we're here just they're getting to know me and getting to know where I'm from, and we're having a blast. We're actually getting ready for my new single, well, my first, I guess, official single, which is going to be out on radio very soon. So I hope you call in for my song on radio and rush out and buy the album when it comes out, and come and see me at my shows, and keep on stopping by to see what I'm up to.
Wind blowing on my face, sidewalk flying beneath my back. A 5-year-old's first taste of what freedom's really like. He was running right beside me, his hand holding on the seat. I took a deep breath and hollered as I headed for the street. You can let go now, Daddy. You can let go. Oh, I think I'm ready to do this on my own. It's still a little bit scary, but I want you to know I'll be okay now, Daddy. You can let go. I was standing at the altar between the two loves of my life. To one I've been a daughter, to one I soon would be a wife. When the preacher asked who gives this woman, Daddy's eyes filled up with tears. He kept holding tightly to my arm till I whispered in his ear, you can let go now, Daddy. You can let go. Oh, I think I'm ready to do this on my own. It still feels a little bit scary, but I want you to know I'll be okay now, Daddy. You can let go. It was killing me, strongest man I ever knew, wasting away to nothing in that hospital room. You know he's only hanging on for you, that's what the night nurse said. My voice and heart were breaking as I crawled up in his bed and said, you can let go now, Daddy, you can let go. Your little girl is ready to do this on my own. It's gonna be a little bit scary, but I want you to know I'll be okay now, Daddy. You can let go. You can let go.
The past 13 years of my life, I've struggled hard to gain where I am today as an Anishinaabe person.
Armando Wemigwans knows how hard it can be to follow a traditional lifestyle. We first met him and his family on their way to the powwow. He told us that when he was a child, he and his brother were taken away from their parents and placed in a white foster home.
I can say that I'm a survivor itself from the foster care era. I was taken away at an early age. I endured a lot of physical, emotional, and spiritual abuse.
How old were you when you were put into a foster care?
I was taken away when I was 8.
8 years old until when?
Till I was 12.
Wow.
So for 4 years, I've endured a lot of that emotional pain that it's very unbearable to even try to remember as to what had happened to myself and my brother. There were nights where we were locked inside rooms and we were treated very unfairly because of our race, our color. I didn't grow up on the res.
Pride in one's culture starts at an early age here. These grade 2 students are practicing their chanting for a special event being held today at Wiikwemkoong's junior school. Along with the rest of the kids, they've set up displays around the gym depicting different aspects of their traditional life. And parents have been invited to drop by to see the exhibits. For Teresa Hoy, the school's principal, there's nothing quite as uplifting as listening to these young children speak in their native tongue.
How do I see them? I see them as little butterflies, memengosuk, when they finish one grade and they go to the next grade. Yeah. It's beautiful. I call them my little butterflies because they're ready to fly away and come back again and relearn.
So it's Teresa Hoy, and you're the principal here at the junior school.
I'm acting principal here at the school.
Okay, and what was your native name?
Nakwegishkokwe.
Which means?
High-spirited woman.
And are you?
Oh, they say I am.
What's going on here today, here at the school?
Well, originally, a few months back, we were going to have Multicultural Day, and then the teachers suggested that we have a Cultural Day instead to go along with our immersion program that the school is in. We have immersion from kindergarten to grade 2, and it's extending to grade 3 this fall.
Mino, kisha don kakitme. Nahaw.
The language immersion program was started here just recently, when it became apparent that this cornerstone of the culture was in danger of crumbling.
With the study that was made on the reserve here, we found out that the younger children are losing their language quite fast, and so the director and the teachers and everybody got together and decided that we should go immersion to make sure that we keep our language.
How long has that been going on now?
3 years. Yes, 3 years in the school.
And is it working?
It's working slowly and gradually, and hopefully we'll be there.
Okay, very good. Oh, nice. Round of applause.
They call me the voodoo woman, and I know the reason why. They call me the voodoo woman, and I know the reason why. Lord, when I raise my name, oh, you know the sky began to cry. They call me the voodoo woman. I look through water inspired by land. They call me the voodoo woman. I look through water inspired by land. I tell her, all you men, oh, if your woman's with another man. Got a rabbit foot in my pocket, so frog in my shoe, crawfish in my shoulder. Look at Daddy, you. I got dust from a rattlesnake, got a black spot of bone. Now don't do it, baby. You better leave that shit alone. They call me the voodoo woman, and I know the reason why. Know when I raise my name, oh, you know the sky begin.
I'm speaking with Dr. Leland Bell. Leland Bell is a brother from the Manitoulin Island, and we'd like to welcome him here to London, where he has had a show, The Gathering of the Clans, here at the Museum of Ontario Archaeology. It's been running for the past couple months. His show's just ended a couple days ago. But we wanted to have this opportunity to have you meet Leland Bell. And maybe let's just talk about that and how you became encouraged to pursue art from your music, because you were originally a musician.
Yeah, I started quite early on in Wiki, on the Res, Wiikwemkoong Unceded First Nation. I used to be quite involved in bands, doing the usual kind of stuff at the time that was popular at the time on my particular community, which was country rock. Of course, I did other things like that seemed to put me in a creative type of situation. And in these days, when I'm trying to get ready to start painting, I usually start off with music to get myself in a creative mood. I kind of pick up my guitar and play music, and I eventually start to become part of trying to practice creativity, and then from there I just start to paint, sketch, whatever it takes to eventually come to the point where I can be creative. It has given me purpose. Purpose kind of has taken me from I should be a candidate for to have a very miserable life, but I believe because I have a purpose in mind or purpose in my life, I think I've been able to not live that kind of life. You would think being a foster child I would be bitter. I'm not. or having all kinds of health problems that I would, but I don't. I kind of think you have to live the life that you're given, and at the time that was the gift that I was given.
You were influenced by the Native Group of Seven.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell our viewers a little bit about the Native Group of Seven.
Yeah. I did get a chance to meet Carl Ray, which was one of the members of the Group of Seven, and I think he had a large influence in my art, and my hero, one of my heroes, is Daphne Ojik, of course, and because and so are the other artists like Alex Janvier and well, those main ones. That's Norval Morso, of course. Yes. There's a very I really feel like I'm part of that link. Yes. They came ahead of myself and kind of cleared the brush, and or in some cases the jungle, and made it so we could be able to be in places like this.
Yeah.
So I think in that way, I would like to be a part of that strength of those people that brought this to the forefront. Yeah.
That's the one that has every very finely detailed. It looks like beadwork, as my wife was saying. But you were saying each one of those dots, it is beadwork, but each one of those dots represents a thought.
Yeah.
So that's how detailed, minutely detailed it is, eh?
Yeah. I was thinking about it one day, as I was thinking, why did I ever start this painting?
Yeah.
Because each one of those, for the sake of communication, for each one of those medallions, it takes hours to arrive. And I'm familiar with beadwork. I'm not the best beadwork person. I've done beadwork for bags and different things like that. So I know how much it actually takes to stitch one bead at a time or 3 beads at a time, whatever. So I was thinking to myself when I was sitting there doing that little dot, and at times you go cross-eyed while you're doing it, and I'm thinking, why did I ever start this? So it came to me that each one of these little dots is like a thought. It's like binary thinking. Finally you arrive at a complete thought, and that's what each of those circles is a complete thought when you've finished each of the circles. I began to understand back then in 1980, whatever it was, that my art was closely related to my heritage. I had made the connection that the colors I was using were all related to my heritage. I spent a lot of time going through my heritage by exploring color, for instance. I spent a lot of time, and it's not unlike probably someone who goes to art school and studies certain things. I studied the color blue. how many different shades of blue can I create? Yeah. In terms of heritage, I was able to connect the two, my heritage, and becoming part of the Manitoulin society gave form to what I had already connected to. Because I first connected to my art, and then I decided to connect to my Manitoulin heritage. Yeah. So that faith that I have is my faith. You know what I mean? So it's quite difficult for me to lose it. Yeah, it's like purpose.
Here we go, intertribal song and dance, ladies and gentlemen. We're fighting for dance.
It's nice, and we sit up here and you can see there the powwow, and you can hear the drums. What does it mean to you to have the traditional powwow here?
Oh, it's exciting. It's all cultural, so I love doing it. It's my passion.
For powwow coordinator Debbie Ann Manitoulin, there are few things more important than being proud of one's heritage.
Following the red path has been like, you know, it's you give yourself to the Creator, and living that way to like, you know, just to be that very better person.
What is the red path?
The red path is just living, teaching your children, teaching people around you of the Anishinaabe way, which is the traditional way of, like, you know, just kind of just being happy, being positive, and just the well-being of oneself. The traditional part of it's so rich in our community.
So basically what we do is we formalize a little gathering for our traditional peoples and celebrate the nice fiscal year that we had so far.
I understand sort of a Thanksgiving. Is that what this is?
It's a Thanksgiving in regards for all the Creator has given us in regards for, you know, for the harsh winters we've gone through, and then we're coming down to where the berry festival is coming up. The berries are popping out, the gardens are going in. So this is the year this is the day that we celebrate the Thanksgiving of the Creator what's given us to us.
Maybe this celebration symbolizes what's best about her culture, but she admits keeping these ancient traditions alive while contending with the pressures of the modern world isn't always easy.
Do you find it ironic here you have a traditional powwow happening, and you see everybody in traditional garb and drumming and chanting, but then on the streets it's a whole different story, isn't it? I mean you're a mother yourself with kids, you know, and you hear the kind of things that go on here, drugs and alcohol and that kind of thing. How do you feel about that? Well,
it does bother me, but I just tell my children, I just teach my children, like, you know, if you choose to do that wrong, like, you know, you have consequences to pay. And like, you know, it's just, they think it's fun, but it's not fun. It's not healthy.
This is Amanda with the guitar over there.
Yeah.
And Mona sitting over there. Robin. Our oldest granddaughter, Leanne. Husband, wife, Nicholas.
Gordon Wemigwans and his wife Julia have also been affected by the drug culture. They're the proud grandparents of 22 grandchildren.
Austin, Peter, and Annie.
Wow, how many? 22 grandchildren.
Two grandchildren are missing here. And there's our youngest daughter passed away 6 years ago.
We met Gordon and Julia at this family get-together in their backyard.
What's it like to have 22 grandchildren? I can't imagine.
It's fun.
It's funny.
Fun, yeah.
You're never lonesome around here. There's always somebody around. Always kids around.
So you have 22 grandchildren. How many children did you have?
We had 7 girls, no boys. My youngest one died. This one here.
And these two belong to
mom.
Belong to her.
Yeah.
These two here, and we're looking after them now.
Was it an accident?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
At first, Gordon found it too difficult to talk about his daughter's death.
Could I ask you about your daughter? Or is it too hard to talk about?
It's too hard to talk about.
Yeah.
That's how she died when she OD'd.
She OD'd on drugs?
Actually, we don't really know what happened. That's what they told us. But I think it was something else.
How old was she?
She was only 19 years old when she died.
Was she here in the community?
No. She was in Sudbury.
Oh, no. That must be terribly difficult.
It was difficult. I'm not over her yet.
Yeah. You have all these other kids and grandchildren, and you know that these kind of things exist here. How difficult is that for you? How hard is that for you, knowing that you know these kind of pressures and these kind of things still exist around here?
They do exist, and I know the community is always helping. They got places where you can go, make a phone call if you need help, or if your child needs help. They got helplines.
You know, as a mother and a grandmother, that must be such a worry for you.
I always try to tell them, don't hang around those kind of kids. Stay away from it. That's what I always tell them anyway.
Yeah, you guys better listen to your grandmother. Eh?
Okay.
Don't you think? She said, don't hang around with the bad crowd. Don't get into drugs and alcohol.
I know that.
That's good.
This is my nephew's baby.
7 years ago, Debbie Manitoulin also decided to dedicate herself to her native culture and try to live a more traditional life.
It was never there for me as a child because of the religion. Like, you know, I am both Roman Catholic and tradition. My father had been a deacon here in the community, so he was strongly for the church. But as I grew to know myself better, I wanted the more cultural part. It was just always in my heart to go that way, to be that way, because, like, you know, it's just it had been taken away from us because of the Jesuits. Like, you know, just it was hard. Like, you know, even I had a very disturbing with my father. Like, he was angry at me at one time, but he accepted my choice of going this way, going this path.
Religion versus tradition has been part of Wiikwemkoong's history for more than 150 years. In the mid-1800s, the Jesuit brothers established a settlement here. First, they built this church, and then, next door, constructed what is now the ruins of an imposing stone building, the Jesuits' mission headquarters.
They were built as a residence for Jesuit priests and brothers. This was the center of the mission here for all over the north. So they would come here, and then they would spread out from here to other parts of the North Shore and other parts of the island. And there were Jesuit brothers here who did a lot of the industrial work and taught industrial skills and did the farming here. And on the top floor there would have been a dormitory for boys who lived in the far part of the reserve and would come in during the weekdays and stay and go back on the weekends.
Although there was a dormitory for boys, this was never used as a residential school. That school was on the mainland in a town called Spanish, and most of the children from Wiikwemkoong ended up there.
There was one woman who told me, yeah, I got everything I have I got from the residential school. And then I went back to her and I said, but what was it really like there? Because you hear all these complaints. And she said, they made us ashamed of being Indian. And I think that's the crux of the matter there.
These young dancers represent that next generation. They're learning at an early age that being proud of who you are builds self-esteem and strength of character.
That's what makes you that better person, is because you're proud. You don't walk around like this like some of them do. I said, you're like this. And people know, that. People know who my children are. This is my husband, Jim Manitoulin.
Jim, nice to meet you.
This is my son, Sheldon Manitoulin.
Sheldon, pleasure.
I've introduced my children to naming ceremonies. So my children and we have Indian names.
What's your Indian name?
Translated in English is one who takes care of water. So Nebe is water. Nebe Negdenjget. Negdenjget is one who takes care of something. Wow. So Nebe, so I take care of the water. And ironically, my son, who is 12 years old, my father had given him his Indian name before he passed on, which is white caps on the waters.
Wow.
So.
And you're the
one who
takes care of water.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful ladies, as we have them.
Patrick Shawana is another resident who's found a unique way of making a living, one that includes his love of horses.
What's his name? Handsome.
Handsome. Why handsome?
Because he's handsome.
Situation here for you. Do you have a job here?
Yeah, my boss is right there.
Yeah? Waiting for you to go to work?
Yeah.
What do you do?
We do some masonry work, and I work with his workhorses. We plow the fields and, you know.
With workhorses?
Yeah.
What kind?
They're a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Belgians, and we got some Bertrand Pintos. I love working with horses. I love being around them. I couldn't answer for everybody else, but things, there's quite a few unemployed, but yeah, I do all right myself. If you want to work, and if you want to look for work, you can find work. I love being here. This is where I'd rather be here than the city, that's for sure. Because in the city you can't run around riding a horse, and you know what I mean? They're just the freedoms of the freedom.
Well, that's all right with me. I am a product of my mom and daddy and the place I love. What he gets is what he sees. You better love me when my roots are showing, or I'll pack up my boots and be going. Bye, 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 bye. If it's me that he's impressed with, anything I might be dressed in ought to be just fine.
Good luck, gentlemen. in particular with Wiikwemkoong, it's called the Unceded Indian Reserve because of a surrender that took place, a treaty that we opposed in 1862 that we refused to sign because we had signed a treaty with Sir Francis Bond Head in 1836 in which the British promised that these islands, all the islands between Sault Ste. Marie and Penetanguishene, numbering some 23,000 islands, that those would be ours forever, our property. So when this, they came back in 1862 wanting to get more land, and our chiefs said no. You know, this is ours, this is the promise, and we've never, you know, given up our rights here. This is our land, and we don't want to part with it. But they were able to induce some other people to sign this agreement, and we refused. And at that point, they said, well, everything east of the line from South Bay to Manitoulin Bay, they drew a line, and they said east of that will be the unceded portion. So from that point on, we were called the Unceded. And it has a lot more meaning, I guess, in the sense of the continuous line of our occupation of the territory and all the legal rights that entails. But Unceded also has implications under the Indian Act, where it says, under, I forget what section, but where it defines an Indian reserve, it says property that's held in trust by the Crown for the use and benefit of Indians. But there's a subsection there that says special reserves. And special reserves are defined as land which is held by someone other than the Crown. And in this case, Wiikwemkoong Unceded Indian Reserve is classed as a special reserve because the property lies in our own interests.
And what's the advantage of that?
Well, it's not a matter of land being set aside or just for the use and benefit. It's actually our property. We own it and have never relinquished our jurisdiction over the territory. So as far as our people have always been concerned, this is our land and we hold jurisdiction over it. And of course, in trying to come to agreement with all that means with the government of Canada, there's a lot of differences of opinion as to you know, what our rights really amount to.
But it's something people here seem to be very proud of.
Yes. Yeah, we are very proud of our status as an unceded Indian reserve, and we, to us, it's something that we've inherited from our forefathers, and that we intend to pass on to our future generations in terms of this remaining our land.
that's what the headlines say. I don't know, it just seems like lately there's only bad news every day. They said a change was gonna come, but I don't think they meant for the worse. But when you look around at what's going down, it's like the whole world's caught up in some kind of voodoo curse. And I just wanna cry and fall on my knees. Oh, I just wanna cry, 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 cry and beg, Lord, please. Cry for resolution, cry 'cause I know what it's like to lose. I just wanna cry with the people 'cause the whole world's got the blues. It's like we've lost our faith. It's like we've lost our innocence. Yeah, we wonder why things don't change. We're living without consequence, and Mother Earth feels it too. Well, she ain't been treated kind. The way the earth's been quaking and storms been shaking, and all our leaders have lost their minds. Oh, and I just wanna cry and fall on my knees. I just wanna cry, 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 cry and beg, oh please. Cry for resolution, cry for a solution. Cry 'cause I know what it's like to lose. I just wanna cry with the people 'cause the whole world got the blues. Hey! Y'all make some noise for D-Wayne Strobe on that guitar. Turn it up. And I just wanna cry and fall on my knees. Oh, I just wanna cry, 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 cry and beg, oh please. Cry for resolution, cry for a solution. Cry 'cause I know what it's like to lose. I just wanna cry with the people 'cause the whole world's got the blues. Oh, I just wanna cry with the people 'cause the whole world's got the blues. Oh, oh. I just wanna cry. I'm falling on my knees. Oh, yeah. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. There they are. And if you can exit out on this far end, men's fancy, you're invited to come out first. Men's grass, men's traditional, and of course chicken dancers. So we know that there's a number of you. Golden Age, if you could line up at the back of the line, we would appreciate that. Makes it a lot easier for all of the categories. So thank you very much there.
When you are ready.
Like I said, every community has its problems, and I know we have a good set of organizations here that are working together to do some proactive stuff. Like, it's not only the police office that's initiating programs. We have the Rainbow Lodge, Drug and Alcohol Recovery Center, and we've got the Kinigobejme Family Center. There's different organizations in the community that are really stepping up and trying to do more proactive things. So it's looking promising, and I think all we can do is keep trying and whatnot.
I know that there's issues that our community has, and we continue to work, for more employment and more opportunities and more access to services and whatnot. But the people help one another out. They care for one another. Sometimes we have facilitators coming in to do workshops or conferences. They can come in, have an impact on us, but then they're gone. Our community members, in some way, I guess we're all related and we care about one another. And I think the community comes together in times of need. And I love it. The land is beautiful, the water is beautiful. It's just a place like it.